Hey guys, I wanted to make a video about this Clrly guy who's been talking about carnivores and primal diet people for a long time. He thinks that raw food and natural living aren't the way to go, and we have to buy his boiled rock sludge, Shilajit, and his CBD powder from China in order to be healthy. Sorry about that, there's a train going by. We need to buy the boiled rock sludge. Oh man, I might have to restart this video. Hopefully that's not too loud. Yeah, but we have to buy boiled rock sludge to be healthy. And any Clrly users out there, any Clrly fans, want to go look at how Shilajit is made. Shilajit, or however you say it. It's these black rocks that have this black tar in it, and they just break off these big chunks of rock, and then they boil it in water, and they reduce it down till it's like this sticky tar stuff, and then they sell you this boiled rock sludge as quote-unquote minerals. From what I've seen, it's very stimulating and people feel quote-unquote energy from it. So we don't eat rocks because we are animals. Plants eat rocks because they're plants, and that's how plants get their nutrients. Their roots grow into the rocks and they break them down and absorb them. People are not supposed to eat rocks. And Sheila Clrly is selling boiled rock sludge called Shilajit to his users, claiming it's going to be good, and then he goes and buys colostrum. It's like, honestly, it's I don't know if he's a culture vulture or not, but he would be like, hey guys, yeah, I'm real into health. Look, I have this colostrum here. Like, you can trust me now because I go buy raw milk. It's like, bro, what about your CBD powder from China? He talks about how we need to eat like seasonally and stuff, or like live more naturally. And it's like, there's no supplements in nature. There's no boiled rock sludge in nature. That doesn't exist in nature. What exists in nature is real food, raw food, and nature. That's all that exists. And there are no natural humans that would take the time to boil rocks and then eat it. That's ridiculous. I think that's just hilarious. I think Clrly might have good intentions. He says a bunch of words nobody understands. I've never heard of a lot of them. He talks about melatonin and all this stuff. Nobody understands it. It's super cryptic. He talks about the oxygen. I don't know. Some kind of oxide channel. They have all these fancy words. In the biohacking community, they always have fancy words for everything. It's not milk. It's like white supreme substance. It's ridiculous. And no, it's just melatonin. And no, we don't run off of melatonin. That's ridiculous. Testosterone is good as long as you're getting it from raw food, and then it's good. Like, for instance, raw testicles, very good. If you want to increase your testosterone, do that. I don't think you should unless it's really low, but if you want to, there it is. Don't do drugs, don't take supplements. So that's where those rocks come from, the rock supplements. For instance, his magnesium supplement, the magnesium, zinc, all of those things, they either have to be extracted from food with solvents, or they have to be mined in mineral mines, where they extract it from the ground, which is also not natural. You can get zinc in plenty of foods in their raw form. If anyone tells you different, they're either lying or they're ignorant. To say that there's problems with food would be crazy. To say maybe there's problems with this nutrient and oysters, and now you can't uptake this nutrient and all this crap. It's not true. No animals would be alive if you couldn't survive off of raw food. All of the animals, all of the creatures in the world not only survive, but in correct conditions, thrive on only raw food. There are no creatures on the earth that eat cooked food. There are no creatures on the earth that eat supplements and mined minerals from the ground. There are none of them that do. Plants eat minerals from the ground. That's why you give them fertilizers. But there are no creatures that do what he's doing, and yet he would claim that you can live naturally that way, which is ridiculous. And in all instances where you see healthy animals that have robust physiologies, it is never from a cooked food diet. And Pottinger's Cats proves that actually cooked food degenerates animals. So I hope he doesn't push any cooked food either, because that would be interesting. In one of the videos he was talking about how with the primal dieters there's this iron thing, and you have to take this supplement to deal with the iron. How is it a natural food if you have to if you have to synthetically make a supplement to take with the food? That doesn't make any sense. So what he's saying is completely unnatural, and it also wouldn't happen. And it also is saying that, for instance, carnivores would have to do that too, which is crazy. It's like, okay, so why don't carnivores have that problem then? So are you saying that carnivores would be healthier if they had supplements, like natural ones, like wolves? Like, they'd be healthier if they had Clrly's supplement. And in the video, he said they need to eat seasonally, or they need to eat less of it so they don't get iron overload. First of all, eating seasonally is fine. Eating bioregionally is fine. But he talks about it being more natural, and in the same sentence he's promoting his synthetic detox protocol, which is super hypocritical. He has like some Frankenstein nutrition protocol that's like eating natural foods and also eating cheap supplements. Yeah, that sounds like it's really going to do well. And he always talks about his blood work. First of all, blood work is not good. You should not get blood work in the first place. Phlebotomy is not good. Stabbing yourself with needles and pulling blood out of your body, which is blood loss, it's a trauma to the body. It's traumatic to the body. It would be like if you got cut and lost a lot of blood. No one would say, "Oh, that's fine. You lost blood." They would say, "Oh no, that's bad." Getting your blood drawn is blood loss, which is not good. Phlebotomy is not good either. If you want to do that in an emergency situation, then that's fine. But to tell people to get blood work, hopefully you don't tell them to do it very often. And then who came up with these daily allowances? And all of these things. Well, it's the same people who came up with the supplements, the vitamins, the vital mineral people who were mining rocks and processing a bunch of, synthetic products and telling people that they needed them for their health. And then who do you think it is? The supplement and the pharmaceutical houses that made up all those daily allowances and the blood work tests, so that when you come in for blood work, they can sell you their supplements and drugs. So they can say, oh, you have diabetes, or oh, you have this. Now we get to sell you this shit. All of which is not good and keeps you dependent on that system. I'm sure there are exceptions to that, but yeah, so I mean, one of my theories about how the supplement industry got started is someone had a property, let's say a black rock property, a Shilajit property where they had black rocks on it. And they were like, oh, look, this black rock contains minerals. You know what we could do? We could boil it down into a sludge and sell it to people as food product. And that's how supplements were born. And if you want to go look back into the original supplements, for instance, vitamins, which means vital minerals, you can go look at that. Maston's vitamins from a long time ago, that's what it meant. They would actually get rocks, grind them up, and then put them into these little pills that were about this big. Just like those horse pills that are basically tiny little rocks. And then you wash them down like a weirdo. I used to think taking a bunch of pills was such a good thing. It is not. I'm currently on the primal diet, and I have psoriasis, for instance, and it's really the only thing that's helped. I'm gonna tell you this: if you use any supplements, all of that is maintained by the supplements. It is not something that your body self-regulates with raw food. It is something given to you by those nutrients, and you will have to keep giving them to your body all the time. So it's not a good thing because it keeps you dependent on supplements and snake oil stuff like Clrly makes. Or maybe he doesn't make it, but he sells it. He thinks it's good to take CBD powder. I mean, if you look at the Shilajit, I just can't even imagine, once you put that into your body, how long it takes for your body to push it out. Because everything that goes into your body that isn't absorbed has to come out. Even the stuff that absorbed has to come out sometimes. But I just can't even imagine. All the tar in your lungs, how much time do you think it's going to take to detox the black rock sludge tar that Shilajit is? I know it's very stimulating, as I'm sure many things are, but it will not give you health. And you would have a lot more energy if you just had raw eggs or milk or meat. Beef especially gives you energy. Dairy, fruit, any of the natural foods. I guess you could say fruit is more man-made now and not so natural, but meat, blood, dairy is more of an animal husbandry thing, which is fine. I think it's really good. But fruit, I think, is also really good. To imagine that you can't get everything you need from raw food, and for everything for health from raw food and healthy living, I think is just some kind of scam. Just to sell you other things like, oh, no, you can't be like all the other healthy animals on the planet. I'm not talking about the malnourished ones or the ones that have been injured or anything like that, but all of the animals in nature that are healthy and robust for the time that they are, which sometimes isn't very long because of external factors, but it's like saying all of those healthy animals that eat raw food, oh well, but they do a lot better if they just had some zinc powder. To me, is just bullshit. But if you want to think that Clrly, that's fine. I just think that's dangerous information to be telling people that they should eat boiled rock sludge. And he knows this too, which is crazy. Which is why I think, I don't know what's going on with him, but I've followed him for a while. And he knows that it's boiled rock sludge. Like literally mined rocks that are boiled into this like sticky tar stuff that everyone's obsessed with now in the weird biohacking communities. And I just don't know how he hasn't taken that down. I mean, I really don't know. It just makes me not want to trust him, but there's he knows it. He goes and buys colostrum. He knows what's healthy. He knows that colostrum is what's healthy. Meat is what's healthy. Fruit is what's healthy. But he still sells black rock sludge. I just don't understand. It makes me think he's in the club or something. But hey, if Clrly, if he is a guy with good intentions, then that's fine. But he always appears in people's posts. He's commented on one of my posts before, talking about how the primal diet or a raw diet is going to lead to liver failure or something, or a liver toxicity from the iron, or the ferritin iron, or whatever it is. I mean, hopefully he has good intentions, but I don't know. Sometimes I get the feeling that there are a lot of these guys that are in this biohacking club, and I think they just haven't been snapped out of it yet. That it hasn't been a thing where they're like, oh, supplements aren't food. In one of his videos, he had taken a bunch of niacin, so he was really red and flushed, his whole neck and body. And it's bro, that's because you're not supposed to do that. Yeah, I mean, he still hasn't snapped out of it. He still thinks he can read up on all the science and be like, oh, well, this enzyme and this testosterone and then iron comes down and it does a little thing, and he still thinks that is going to be more useful than just eating raw food and living more naturally, that you could never get health that way. What you need is some guy who says a bunch of stuff you don't understand at all and will probably never understand, to gatekeep forever about it, which is what they are. A lot of these health guru guys are just gatekeepers. I mean, they will actually sell you anything. And it makes me think there's this club of people who are just they'll just sell anything to you. I mean, really. They'll be like, oh, I found this tree. I'm going to chop it down, and you know what? I'm going to grind it up, and it's this wonderful, we're going to call it tree fiber, or green fiber. It's a new fiber supplement made with 100% trees, or some bullshit like that. I'm sure they would try to do that. They're always in the influencer community. They always have a bajillion followers. Clrly has 221,000 followers, which is crazy. And I mean, that's how you get that many. You don't get that many by talking about the stuff that Adonis did, or talking about how people should eat raw. You will never get that many subscribers, probably. You'll get a bunch of people who are committed to the diet, committed to being healthy and living naturally. What you won't get is a bunch of fame and attention, and you won't get all these little before and after pictures, all the time. Like how you cured your acne. He's on some of them. He's talking about how he has like helped people get rid of their acne. And it's like a lot of people get rid of their acne. He gets rid of their acne with his liver detox supplement. Again, all supplements are snake oil. You have to understand that. That's where supplements came from. All their little potions and cures and all this crap, when only the body can cure things, on a raw food diet and living naturally. That's the only way. All of it goes back to that, and they don't like that. A lot of these guys really don't want to face the facts, so they kind of do a bunch of mental gymnastics around the fact that we need to eat naturally and live naturally. So they'll come up with all this stuff, his quote-unquote radical biology. It's all that Shilajit that's like collecting in his brain or something. But yeah, anyways, so that's kind of my take on this whole Clrly situation.